for this board to hold a preliminary determination hearing on the proposed construction projects. If you are interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed the sign-in sheet, which will include your name and address. After a presentation by the administration and its advisors, there will be opportunity for the public to make comments about the projects. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit comments to 3 minutes and that the topic be limited to proposed projects under consideration. The notices of the preliminary determination hearing for each of the projects were published as legally required. Pursuant to Indiana Code 61123.1, a school corporation must hold 2 public hearings and adopt a resolution to preliminarily determine to issue bonds or enter a lease for projects which has a total project cost in excess of a certain threshold. These public hearings will end the future consideration of the resolution or the very beginning of the legal process. We note that no board action regarding these projects is legally required at this hearing. Rather, the hearing is solely to hear the public comment regarding the projects. We will now hear from Mr. McCormick about the process of determining, communicating these projects to the community and the need for the projects.
Thank you, Mr. Beatty. This facility assessment is part of months of meetings and discussions by school board members, district administrators, district directors, input from other PCS staff members, and direction from Gibraltar Design, Skillman Corporation, Ice Miller, and Stiefel. This has been a very comprehensive process from top to bottom. With respect to facility long-range planning, objectives include every K-12 school building being touched, accomplishing historical district needs, addressing major maintenance cost items district-wide, getting district facilities upgraded and on a cycle of need, balance of MEP and aesthetic needs, repurposing underutilized district assets and square footage, master plan rooted in facility study and staff input. Priority needs include update or modify key operational areas, site improvements, MEP infrastructure upgrades, sustain student learning environments throughout the schools for student opportunities. So that is an overview of the educational needs for this project, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. We'll now hear from Mr. Funston from Skillman Corporation about how the proposed project meets the needs as just described.
Thank you. I'm going to turn this just a little bit so I can see the screen at the same time. Do I control this now? Thank you. So, usually you'll hear from Chris Kingery from Gibraltar. Unfortunately, he had a really bad reaction to some poison ivy. So tonight, it's not typically customary for the construction manager to talk about the architecture. However, we've been working hand in hand with everybody quite a bit here, so I'll try to speak to the solutions to the needs as much as possible. So Gibraltar, as they went through, you heard Mr. McCormick talk about the study that they've been performing on all the buildings, coming forward with the needs, and then having to prioritize kind of those tasks and lists. So quite a few of the objectives that they have here, just looking at multiple things as they go through the study and keeping some of these type of core value and objectives in front of them. One of those very specifically, not drawing a plan for now, but specifically for the entire future. You heard from Mr. McCormick. Once again, they've touched every K-12 building. Went through. They've taken a lot of information in from multiple staff members from the Peru district, and they've created basically a master plan set forth to follow throughout. Priority needs, obviously operational areas, site improvements, MEP infrastructure, and learning environments for the students have all been reviewed. We've looked at, once again, this is just kind of covers all the buildings that Gibraltar has looked at throughout your district. So without actually going into the bullet points, obviously here's the campus, very specific things that they've looked at for the land and reuse of the building. This is a diagram that Mike Rosillo, who you've heard from before in previous presentations, has come up with kind of the function and flow within that building. Obviously, we've looked at Elmwood also. The colors on this diagram obviously represent different needs or factors within the building itself. Blair Point, same thing. A lot of the red arrows represent work on the outside, site drainage, and different things that are required to keep the water out of this building. In particular, there's some program items that have also been addressed, along with some finishes and MEP throughout the building. The junior high school went through a lot of different renovations and renditions, I should say, of programming, renovations, and refurbishment throughout. That included MEP, different types of study. Also have the upper level here, once again color coded. You can see that in the packet. From the old junior high, we took out, had some demo and whatnot that were showing some repurpose for the outdoor area for some expanded athletic practice fields, and also some refurbishments within the existing building. So those needs have kind of been shown and put out. We feel like they've come up with a good plan for maintenance throughout the district. Once again, we have a lot of aging infrastructure and different things in each one of the buildings. So the cost, the schedule first and foremost. So we are at the first project hearing. That's July 7th today. Second one, July 21st. Then there's a kind of a 30-day period where we wait. And then obviously we would release Gibraltar to design those needs that we're having a hearing for this evening. Project bids and start of construction, kind of have that as a to be determined right now. Once we settle on those needs and come up with a design schedule, obviously we would republish this. Start of construction would take place approximately, I don't know, about 4 months after we receive bids. Obviously there's a procurement time and whatnot for a lot of the construction items that go within those projects. Goal to complete, I think that'll be a sliding scale as far as schedule goes. Obviously some buildings will have a faster schedule than others based upon the needs that they have within inside of them. Now we're talking about the costs and the budgets for these projects. So right now we are projecting, which one is this? I'm sorry, the Tiger North Campus improvements with construction costs and soft costs approximately $5.735 million. Secondly, we have Elmwood Primary Learning Center. Right now we're projecting $7.170 million.
This is for both elementaries, Elmwood and Blair Point.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is Elmwood, Elmwood and Blair Point, sorry. This is the Project B elementary projects, and you'll hear that reference later when Luke and Eric talk about that. The junior-senior high school renovations improvement, we also have a $9 million, $10,000 budget for that. And lastly, the former Purdue junior high school renovations, we have $1.585 million associated for that. So kind of grand total, as you're looking at everything, we've got project A, B, C, D set up here, each one individual, but all kind of under one roof. You've got a preliminary cost of construction estimate at $19,204,425. There's soft costs associated with that. That's furniture and technology and things that fill the classroom equipment. A lot of different associated items for that. Total bond issuance at the bottom, which is a max parameter. Eric and Luke will talk about that a little bit more. $23,500,000. So I've kind of covered solutions and items as far as what Gibraltar brought out of the study. Covered this kind of schedule for those items. Looked over some of the costs. Now, I believe Luke is going to tell you how that impacts your finances.
evening, Luke Brugman with Stifel. We serve as bond underwriter for the school corporation. As been mentioned today, this is just the first step in the legal process. No action is being taken by the board tonight, really just to hear any public feedback and present this information. We will walk through all 4 of the different projects, the financial impacts of each one of them, but in total, as Mr. Funston just showed, it would be $23.5 million. We would estimate right now that we would issue approximately $15 million in 2025, and then the remaining $8.5 in roughly 2028. Some of that is going to be fluid as we work through with the construction team and the administration on what the exact timing and needs will be. A lot of that will be figured out as you go through that design and bidding phase. So this really gives the school corporation flexibility to do that and do it most efficiently as possible. So the first thing that we always start with anytime we're looking at structuring a new bond issue to pay for these projects is what are the school corporation's current debt payments. And you'll see from 25 to 26, there's a little drop in the payments and a much larger drop beginning in 27, again in 28, and again in 2030 as some of the prior debt retires. So this is exactly what you want to see anytime you're taking on a new project like this. The next slide just shows the school corporation's current debt service levy, and you'll see that that really mirrors quite a bit what those payments look like. And really the debt service levy just factors into payments, as well as some miscellaneous revenue that's coming into the fund and the cash on hand. But ultimately, this is what the school asks for on an annual basis to make the principal and interest payments on the bond issue. So the first project would be for the Tiger North campus, a total of $5,735,000. You'll see here we have in dark blue the 25 bonds and in light blue the 28 bonds. Again, going back to the $15 million in 25 and then the remaining 8.5 and 28. We've just assumed everything is pro rata right now. We know once we get closer to actually selling the bonds, we'll fine tune that a little bit, but you'll see how all of this layers in once we get to that final project here. So the estimated cost breakdown for the Tiger North campus is, I can't even read that on there. $5,530,000 for hard and soft project costs, and about $205 for financing costs. So here are the maximum parameters that will be included. And again, no resolutions are being set forth tonight. At the July 21st hearing, these numbers would be in the resolutions if you decide to move forward. So again, the maximum borrowing amount, $5,735,000, financing costs of $205,000, leaving the school corporation hard and soft project costs of $5,530,000. Estimated interest rates of 2 to 6%. We've modeled everything at 5%. If you sold bonds today, you're at about a 4%. So we do feel like we have some cushion built in there. We're assuming a maximum term of 20 years. That can always be shortened up as well, but that is the maximum length that we can have. The estimated total interest cost with the conservative interest rate is just over $4 million. The maximum annual payment that the school corporation can make on this specific project at any given time is $2.5 million. If you simply divide $2.5 million by the school corporation's net assessed value, you get 0.5592 as the maximum impact, but that does not factor in any of the debt falling off like we showed on the prior slides. Once you factor that in, that's that bottom row there, that it's going to have no increase to the school corporation's debt service tax levy. A couple other ratios at the bottom again that you'll see in the resolutions on the 21st. The max payments as a percentage of the school corporation's net assessed value of 0.8094. Then the direct and overlapping debt as a percentage of your net assessed value. That's just looking at all the other municipalities, your county, city, town, library, and school, their property tax debt divided by your net assessed value. A lot of these numbers are going to remain the same for the next project, so I will not have to walk through each one of them. The next project would be the elementary projects, which again, these are in green here, and dark gray would be roughly what the 25 bond portion of the elementary projects would look like, and light green would be the 2028 portions. The estimated cost breakdown you'll see here of $6.91 million for hard and soft project costs and $260,000 for financing costs. That makes up the $7,170,000. And again, that's in the top 3 rows there. Estimated interest rate and maximum term, that's gonna be the same for all of these. Estimated total interest cost of just over 5 million. Again, you'll see the max annual payment and tax rate impact, which was the same as the prior slide. And actually, those next 5 rows are really the same as the prior slide. The junior senior high school project for a total of 9,010,000. This would be, in dark red would be the 25 portion of the bonds, and light red would be the 28 portions of the bonds. Again, you'll see how we start to layer those on, and ultimately in the next slide, how this all factors in together. So the estimated breakdown on this one, again, the large portion making up hard and soft project costs, 8,685,000 for hard and soft project costs, and the remaining in blue and green here is for financing costs. So a total borrowing of 9,010,000 with that breakdown there. Estimated interest rate and term is the same as previous slides. The estimated total interest cost of just over 6.3 million for this specific project. Again, the next five rows, max payment, and those rows are all the same as the prior projects. Lastly would be the old junior high projects, and this would be 1,585,000 in dark blue or royal blue there on top is the 25 bonds portion, and then in light blue is the 28 portion. And this really shows how all of these projects would be layered on together to make sure that we're not increasing the school corporation's debt service levy, but also making sure that we're giving the school corporation flexibility in the future. We know these are going to tackle a lot of your projects over the next 3 to 5 years, but also know that projects and needs arise over the next 20 years. So the last thing that we want to do is structure these bonds where you have no flexibility to come back and fund any projects. So you'll see there is some capacity beginning in the 2030 levy based on this preliminary structure if you needed to do additional projects. So it gives you that flexibility knowing that there are ongoing needs for a school corporation. This is a project cost breakdown for the old junior and senior high school. Again, as you can see, the majority going towards the hard and soft project costs. The pro rata version of the cost of issuance and financing costs would be 55,000, leaving 1,530,000 for hard and soft project costs. The estimated total interest cost of just over 1.1 million, a max payment on this specific project of 1.8 million for a maximum tax rate impact of 0.4027 for this specific project. The remaining 3 lines are the same as the previous 3 projects' maximum parameters. So I know that's a lot of numbers and graphs. Happy to answer any question from the administration there. That is all that I have on the financing side, though.
I guess, could you explain for the public how tax rate won't rise and stay the same?
Say that again.
Can you explain, I guess, for the public how the tax rate will stay the same and not rise?
Yes. Yeah, so we're going to structure these when we go back to this here. So with the idea in mind, and in gray is the school corporation's current debt service levy. That's the ask that they have on an annual basis for to make the principal and interest bond payments. We are going to structure all of these projects to stay within that current ask, so there will not be an increase due to these projects at all. Everything is at the current debt service levy. Thank you.
Okay, now we will open the public hearing. Remember that if you would, remember if you would like to speak, please sign in on the sheet, which is now located here. As I mentioned earlier, we ask that you state your name, your address, limit your comments to the proposed projects and financing. Keep any comments 3 minutes or less, and avoid being repetitive if possible. I do have the sign-in sheet right here. First on the list is Kent Gould. Kent, the floor is yours. There you are.
So I am Kent Gould. I have been out the theater for quite a number of years. I am very familiar with a lot of the inner workings of everything out there. I don't know, I'm familiar with a lot of the inner workings out there, and over the year time, we have many field trips from children coming, school kids coming through. Last year we had over 1,000 school kids come through for field trips. We're currently in our summer movies, providing free movies every Tuesday morning for 10 weeks. We have over 100 basically school-age kids turn out to watch these free movies. And I'm basically asking that we do not do away with the theater, if at all possible, that maybe there is an alternative to building next to the theater on the vacant land that the school currently owns, or somehow working around that. I know we currently have an agreement with the school that they can use the parking lot for ball game parking, and I know there's been some talk about needing restrooms and concessions, and basically we do not have an issue with opening up the front end of the theater for restrooms and concessions. It's simply been a fact that nobody from us or the athletic department has contacted us to know when that is. So we can't schedule workers in to open up the front end if we don't know when to do it. So we currently are looking pretty good as far as business-wise. Don't foresee any issues of, other than selling the building, don't foresee any issues of the business failing in the near future. And I would just like to keep things going. We provide the only entertainment business in the city. Quite honestly, I'm surprised that somebody here from the city doesn't speak up, because we have all kinds of renovations for downtown Peru and so forth, and I would think it would be quite detrimental to eliminate that. And basically now you've just got a town with nobody to do anything in other than visit the bars or whatever. So I just wanted to basically stress that we would really appreciate it if there's some way that the theater could remain in business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gould. Next up, we have Elaine Anderson.
Hi, my name is Elaine Anderson, and I must say I am just totally, I don't know what the right word is, shocked at the amount of money for all of these projects that the Peru Community Schools want to spend. And I don't care if the debt service won't increase, it'll be the same. Do you ever think about giving us a tax break? I own farmland in Peru Township. My tax rate is currently 2.894. Okay, for those of you who don't understand that, that's per 100 assessed value. And I own farmland in Pipe Creek, and that tax rate is 1.6089, considerably different than the tax rate for Peru Township. And believe you me, if I could sell the land in Peru Township and buy property outside Peru Township, I would be happy to do that. But this land I own has been in my family for over 100 years. So it's likely that we're not going to sell it. I just don't understand how much, could I ask the price that's going to be paid or is being proposed to be paid for the Roxy Theater? Could you, one of you gentlemen, answer that for me, please?
This is a public comment section, ma'am.
Okay, well, let's just say I'm going to make up a figure then, $1.8 million for the building and the property, and then it has to be remodeled. And it's much cheaper if you want a maintenance shed to just build a pole barn. It really doesn't have to be real fancy like the Roxy Theater. If you want to have a place to park your buses, what about down at the campus where the schools are? There's plenty of places here. If you tear down the junior high school, can't you just make part of that as the parking lot for the buses? Do we have to have practice facilities for the for the athletic teams, can they just not practice on the fields? That's the way it was when I went to school. Does Peru schools think that we are a Taj Mahal? Is this county so rich that we can afford all of these projects? No, we are not Carmel, we are not Westfield. We are Miami County, one of the poorest counties in the state. And to think that our school system has to have all this fancy stuff is ridiculous. And it seems as though there's a big emphasis on athletics at Peru schools. Really, what happened to education? Shouldn't that be our priority? Think about all the money that you're proposing to spend, and who's going to pay for all of this? You get a lot of property taxes from the farmers. Without the farmers, I don't know what you're going to do, because the farmers are not making a lot of money right now. Now, maybe in a couple years, things could change. But as of right now, it's not good. So increasing property taxes, and I know you say it won't increase, but yes, it will. Property taxes go up every year. My property taxes went up 25% from last year. So think about these projects. Are they really all needed? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. The last one I have on the list here is Malin Culp.
I have no comment to make right now, thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? Come on up. Please state your name and your address, and then when you're done, I need you to sign this.
Say it out to the. My name's Brady Carson, 235 East Main Street. I'm an employee at the Roxy 5 movie theater. Been there for about a year. Understand that it does give a lot of benefit in the bill of the bond project's got a lot of good. It's going for the school, but at the same time, I don't believe, kind of off of what Mr. Gould said, I'm not sure if it's necessary to take out that part of our community. It offers a lot of, at least from personal bias, it gives a very easy way for young students, especially student athletes, to have a way to make money of their own very well, working around my schedule as a 3-season athlete. And I know plenty of other people there who do work there, who have seen wonderful things the theater's done. Like Mr. Gould has said, it does great things for school children who go to Peru Community Schools, North Miami Community Schools, offering free movies. They are one of the only places in the town that offer a form of entertainment to the disabled. Our skate parks don't commute them. Our playgrounds are very hard for them to have. It gives a very easy way, an affordable way compared to other theaters around the nation to give families a way to spend time with their families. And I know that the bond project might not increase any, it's not going to increase any, like projects from taxes may, sorry, I'm wording this wrong, but it won't increase any real detriments to the community other than just losing something special to it. I think that it's a good idea to keep in consideration that it might eventually be able to help more, and I know that our school does need a lot of the things in the bond, but I believe he said it maybe $6 million to do there might be able to be allocated or put towards something better that wouldn't remove something from the community. But yeah, it gives just a lot of benefits to children, athletes, families at a much more affordable price than say AMC. Once it's here, you get to drive there, watch your movie, drive home, take maybe 3 hours out of your time if you live in Peru as a local. If not here, you got to drive to Merrimack's, it's a 25-minute drive away. You got to pay for the gas. If you go to AMC, it's $35. Pay for the gas. Prices there are much more expensive. Went to AMC earlier this year. Cost me about double than would have cost me to go to the Roxy. Just, yeah, I think that it would be removing an integral part of what makes our community, while I know it wouldn't be ruining anything, like taking away from us as a money standpoint. It would add things, but I think it would still be taking away something very special. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Thank you all who participated in the hearing. We appreciate your time and interest in the projects and the future of our community. Please note that this is just the first step in the legal process. Again, no board action session is legally required at this hearing. Rather, this hearing is solely to hear public comment. The board will continue to work with the administration and its professionals to look for efficiencies to conserve tax dollars while meeting our educational needs. The board will hold a second public hearing in this boardroom July 21st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you all. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to touch base with you guys. My name's Jason Taylor Artefonso. I'm part of the community. I looked at the chart that you were demonstrating, everything, how the money's gonna come in, how the money's gonna come out. So my biggest thing is there where you could take some of that money, put it back into the Roxy to save costs on that, affected on that? Because I believe if you could take some of that money and add to the Roxy and also give back to the schools, I believe that would be a great idea, but also a win-win situation for our community. I believe the Roxy is a thing for our community to go to the movies and be with families, but also I hate to take away from our community and the money away from building these new ideas that for the school corporation. I support the school corporation, but also support the Roxy. So on our next meeting, I would like to talk about more about the graphs, what we're going to do with the money, and what we're going to do later in the next 5 to 10 years of the project. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll begin our public session. If you would all please rise. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. First item up is the acceptance of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Second. Second. Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Approval of the minutes.
I will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Any correction or any discussion on the minutes from the June meeting? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Public comment. I have none on the public comment of the public meeting, so we'll move past that. On to business. Mr. McCormick, the floor is yours on the paperwork.
All right, we have, Mr. Beatty, for the board's consideration, our annual quote for printer paper across our district. Quote cost of $26,250 from Natural Choice, and that quote is in your packet, again, for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. I assume you've all got a chance to read that quote. I would entertain a motion to accept that as recommended. So moved. Thank you, Mr. Hoover.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next up is the Accelerated Reader Book Guide Renewal. Mr. McCormick?
Again, for your consideration, this is an Accelerated Reader AR Book Guide annual renewal for $6,269.37. A product that's used at the junior, senior high, and Blair Point.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to accept that recommendation as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? And it is unanimous. Thank you. Next up is the Apex renewal. Mr. McCormick.
Apex is a product of Edmentum. Again, similarly as the previous two, this is a annual renewal quote for Apex for the high school. The cost of this is $15,131.85 for this software.
Thank you, sir. I would entertain a motion to accept that recommendation.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, and thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on. Next is the library medium program renewal.
That quote and information is in your packet as well. It's a renewal quote for Alexandria Library Program software for Miss Inyard, I don't know if this is a typo, is it 6,000?
It's $6,304.50 on the original quote.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept that for the amount of $6,304.50. I would accept that motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Dr. Quinn? Thank you. 501. Auditorium stage floor. Mr. McCormick?
You have a quote for your consideration to refurbish entirely the stage floor, the junior, senior high school auditorium. Although it's been touched at some level here and there, it's never had a total refurbishment, which is what this quote includes. It is a quote for $126,939. It will be, again, a total refurbishment of the stage floor by 4-Star Floor Care. Dr. Gornto, this quote, this company, they also, you could fill us in, who else have they serviced?
Okay, I got the recommendation for this company from the Honeywell Center. They do Eagles Theater Stage, they do the Honeywell Ford Theater Stage. They also completely rebuilt the Paramount Theater Stage in Anderson as part of that renovation. The stage floor is 55 years old and has never been replaced as it should have been. It has been well maintained and well loved, but the time has come to redo that and put it in properly. We have what's called a Wagnerian pit, so the orchestra pit underneath. Each of those orchestra pit covers is custom built for our school. They spared no expense when they built the high school originally, and so we need a company with their level of expertise that can come in to rehab each of those individual panels to make sure the orchestra pit is still accessible and usable and safe for our students.
So they're relatively local then?
They're based in the Anderson area. LaPel, thank you. Yeah.
Madison
And
County.
it's a generational company. The first quote we got, the son was leading up, but his dad was puttering around answering questions and guiding him. And it's a good company with a good reputation that does really top quality work in stage floors. They also did the Tiger Den a few years ago for us.
So that quote is there for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. I would entertain a motion to accept that quote as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller, or Ms. Justice, either way. She's writing it down. Any discussion?
You said the funds to cover that are coming out of leftover bond monies, is that correct?
Correct, the 2022, most notably known as the football stadium project, of monies left over from that project.
questions or discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next up is the Amplified Dibbles renewal. Mr. McCormick.
For your consideration, again, another renewal for a educational piece of software called Amplify. It's used for Dibbles at Elmwood. That's at a cost of $6,304.50.
Hearing the recommendation, I will entertain a motion to accept as presented. Thank you, Ms. Justice. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to the NWEA renewal.
Again, for your consideration, it's an annual quote for NWEA, a 3-year subscription, $14,910. Dr. Gornto and Mrs. Shurick couldn't be here. She's out of the country right now. Did she leave any narrative on the NWEA?
She did. The NWEA diagnostic test, it's a new subscription. It takes the place of the iLearn diagnostic test that was discontinued last summer. So we're just replacing it with this. It does, it allows our teachers to make informed decisions about math and English learning. We were able to scale back and right-size the number of seats, and so it's less than it otherwise would have been. It's a 3-year subscription.
Thank you, Dr. Gornto.
I'm hearing the recommendation. I'll entertain a motion to accept that as presented as well.
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Pennington. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hooper. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next up is a curriculum associate quote. Mr. McCormick.
This is a company that the school district has used for a number of years, Curriculum Associates. I want to say our sales rep is out of Cass County. Again, Dr. Gornto, did Mrs. Shurick leave any narrative on Curriculum Associates?
She left a few notes. Let's see, this is a 1-year renewal of the print iReady English language arts for grade 6. And that will basically step us between now and the 6-12 adoption this spring that we'll be doing. 1-year renewal of iReady print for digital math and iReady math diagnostic, and that's for grades K through 6. It also includes 1-year ELA iReady diagnostic for English language arts. We did not renew the MyPath add-on, and that saved us about $8,500. So we renewed this at a much lower level.
Thank you.
Is this a renewal or a new?
It doesn't say in Mrs. Shurick's notes, but there are. If this is a renewal, it's less, and if it's a replacement, then it's also less. So she has the total savings here for the mission that this accomplishes. I can't say specifically, but yeah, I can.
We've used Curriculum Associates in the past. It's some form of a renewal. It just is in a different format, saving us money now.
Any other discussion? Not at this time.
So most of these renewals, just to be clear, they come out of our education fund, correct? Correct. So these are things we paid for out of there in the past.
Correct, Dr. Quinn.
And also, there's a difference between iReady and iLearn. They are two separate entities. So the iReady is something that is still actively being done year after year.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Motion passes 501. McGraw-Hill Wonders subscription digital quote. Mr. McCormick.
Last school year being 23-24, so I guess 2 school years ago, the district invested in Wonders. This is an expansion of Wonders in our elementary grade levels. I'll put Mrs. Eddy on the spot here in a second. This is, for your consideration, the McGraw-Hill Wonder subscription digital quote of $15,342.24. Mrs. Eddy, do you have any thoughts or comments on how this expands our Wonders program?
So at the end of 2 years ago, when we were adopting Wonders, we were given the opportunity to not necessarily adopt a K through 6, but let a couple of grade levels opt out. And this is opting those grade levels in, and this is creating a curriculum continuum now, K through 6. I think Mrs. Shurek has worked with Wonders to bring on board those 2 grade levels with this consideration, and that will put us all on the same page, tying up some loose ends.
Thank you, Mrs. Eddy.
You see the recommendation before you. I would entertain a motion to accept. Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Pennington. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? It is unanimous. Canvas LMS Cloud Renewal. Mr. McCormick, you're up again.
Yes, Canvas is our learning management system. This is a cloud renewal. For your consideration, the renewal quote for Canvas LMS cloud subscription, $16,656.20.
As a recommendation, I'll entertain a motion to accept it as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Second? Thank you, Ms. Justice. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Moving along. South Peru roof report and repair quote.
Thank you, Mr. Beatty. This quote is for your consideration as we start to ramp the South Peru building back up with our alternative school, in addition to Head Start. And there are still a couple of local philanthropic organizations there as well. We had a roof scan done. The good news is for that building's age, the roof still has some good life in it. But there is a spot on the roof at South Peru that could be vulnerable to wind. There's something loose up there. I'm not in the roofing business, but the quote to repair that is $4,325. And that quote is in your packet for your consideration.
Do I have a motion to accept that as presented? Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Any discussion?
So again, is this from leftover 2022 bond money?
Yes.
This company doing this is out of Ohio. There's no one locally in the roofing business. Can we reach out to them at least?
We went through Trimco Roofs, and they work with WTI, and so this is the quote we have for your consideration.
I prefer that we try to stay local since we have many roofing companies locally here in the future.
Any other discussion? Questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Food service sick time payouts. Mr. McCormick.
Yes, for your consideration, we are proposing, since our kitchen staff is transitioning over to Chartwell's employees, they will lose a number of their banked sick days, and although we would not have to do this, we are offering a payout of up to 50 hours of their unused sick leave as compensation for the movement over to Chartwell's. Just thought that this was the fair thing to do. Total cost of that will be a little under $10,000, so it's affordable, and what we felt was a goodwill gesture to our kitchen staff during this transition. So that proposal is there for your
Do I have a motion to accept that recommendation as presented? Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Any discussion?
And this is coming out of, the food service fund, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor? It is unanimous. Next up is junior, senior high school repair quote.
This is for a pipe blockage down in Mr. Hoopenthal's area, kind of in the middle of the building. A number of years ago, roughly 10 years ago, they put in a sump pit, and this time last year, the pump failed, so there was a flooding. They rectified, installed a new pump, but then there's been another backup recently, and when they ran a camera, it was discovered that there's a blockage in the pipe. We don't know if it's, collapsed or what is there. So this is unplanned expense, but something we feel we need to take care of. And the quote for that is $9,491.42. The narrative for that is in your packet from Mr. Snyder. And that is work proposed by QPH as the company.
Do I have a motion to accept that recommendation as presented? Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Any discussion?
And again, the monies for that is coming out of the 2022 bond. Never seems to have an end.
Yes.
Our own money tree. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor? Thank you. Next up, agreements, resolution, letter of intent for purchase.
Skyward.
Skyward.
Oh, forgot about Skyward. I apologize. Skyward renewal. Go ahead.
This is again an annual renewal for Skyward Finance and Education subscription for $28,743.75. We are transitioning to voice cloud systems, so this will be the last year for the Skyward renewal, the finance piece. That is an annual subscription for your consideration this evening. A recommendation from Ms. Enyart and myself.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. I'll entertain a motion to accept that as presented. Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Pennington. Any discussion?
When will the new software be onboarded?
Ms. Enyart?
January, February is when we'll start with that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Now, we can move on to agreements. Mr. McCormick.
The next item for your consideration is a resolution, a letter of intent for the purchase of the Roxy Theater property. You have that letter of intent, letter of interest in your board packet. For the public and from my perspective, I appreciate the comments this evening, but I would note respectfully, the sale of the Roxy property is not our decision. We are proposing to purchase it, but the decision to sell the Roxy has absolutely nothing to do with the school system. Now, with respect to our long-term vision from the school, some time ago, a number of years ago, superintendents, the board of trustees made a decision. We have a softball diamond, we have youth football, we have soccer. We also own two other smaller parcels of land out there as well. There was a vision created out there. We do not have a maintenance department. We have a defunct maintenance building on the east side of town that, as part of this long-term plan, would be sold. Purchasing the Roxy Theater would right now also allow us to sell this building and right-size us. Our administrative offices would go there as well, and we would unload this building as part of the plan as well. Yes, there are other more minor benefits like restrooms for soccer, for athletics, but it will also allow us to explore things such as our own fuel tanks for buses. Right now, our buses are parked all over town. We would be able to park them in one place. We could possibly have our own fuel tanks for better fuel pricing. The possibility for bays to do light service work on our own vehicles in our district. So this letter of interest to buy the Roxy is important. I understand that there are emotions on both sides attached to this, but there is a bigger vision for the Roxy in that it will house our maintenance department, our transportation department, administrative offices, and offer a host of other side benefits as well. So with that in mind, this letter of interest to the owners of the Roxy is there for your consideration this evening.
I would entertain a motion to accept the recommendation as presented. Thank you, Mr. Eber. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Pennington. Any discussion?
I can't diligently vote for this, knowing that we have the junior high property bought and paid for that can be renovated with this same money for our future needs and save us millions, $5.735 million to use on our existing in-use buildings. My constituents are taxed to meet needs, not wants.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? 5-2, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next up is personnel. Mr. McCormick.
Under personnel, letter A, resignations, retirements, suspensions, etc. You have two individuals, Jacob Loftus, transfer from 6th to 3rd grade at Blair Point, and Jenna Hayes, transfer from special ed to PE health for your consideration.
I would entertain a motion to accept those as presented.
So,
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Pennington. Any questions? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you.
Letter B, recommendations for certified positions. You have before you Ms. Hood for Blair Point 6th grade teacher starting for the 25-26 school year. And that is on there for your consideration.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that recommendation as well. Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous.
Recommendation for extracurricular positions. We have Maria Elser for junior high student council advisor.
I would entertain a motion to accept that recommendation. Thank you, Ms. Justice. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Discussion, questions?
What is the 50-50 split?
it's gonna be a position that's shared. So there's one pool of money, and they'll split it between two people.
So she has another job in the district?
No,
She's half-time employee then?
no, the position, there's gonna be two people filling the position, they're each gonna take half of the pay, it's an ECA.
Gotcha. Any other questions? All those in favor? It is unanimous.
And lastly, we have a recommendation for a substitute, Eden Gilbreth, sub-teacher for the district.
I have a motion to
Move to accept the recommended.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Discussion.
And all of these have been vetted, correct? There's no pending background check or anything.
They're good.
Okay. All right. All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you very much. Board member comments. Hearing none. Superintendent comments?
Just want to thank everyone, the board, and other constituents, Gibraltar, Skillman, Stiefel, Ice Miller. You know, we've done a lot of work over the last 10 months. I do want to thank Mr. Van Balen and his constituents for their patience, and they've been very good to work with in just exploring this option. There are a lot of complexities to our long-term plan, and it includes finances, taxes, but it also includes past decisions. Nothing right or wrong, just decisions that were made by previous administration that have led us here, and it's a plan. We have a plan moving forward, and I just appreciate all of the dialogue over the last, we had our first meeting to this effect back in early September, in asking questions of Stiefel, Ice Miller, Gibraltar, Skillman, estimating, and it's been a lot of great discussion. Not everyone agrees all of the time, but we make the best decisions we can moving forward for our district. And there'll be more information to come out on various plans that are very exciting, whether it's cost savings or a better product for our students. But again, thank you for everybody's work on this to this point.
Hearing that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Justice. Do I have a second? Second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.